Thank you for having a look at my thoughts. I thought it would be useful to share them ahead of time so you can go through them at your own time. So this is the full script as I copied from the Google Doc. I'm only going to focus on a small interaction side. So the user either types something into what we're tentatively calling hypermap, that's what was in the document, I think is quite a nice name, or they write it in hypermap itself. So you go from another application into this knowledge graph application. So here we have used the interface that I'm going to show you in a minute to mark this as a position, and that automatically generates a list of similar positions. This is something the user, I think, should be able to set in the preferences whether this type of automatic action should happen or not. So now the user is going to drag the highlighted initial concept onto another one. On doing that, they snap together like this. A pop-up comes up with options so that the user can specify why he or she dragged. Was it to make it a link, or was it to specify that they're similar or different or whatever? This is one of those things I need you guys in the community to try to list somewhere what the possible options are for a user at this point. So in this case, the view style is to have a line connecting because they are similar. Now we're going to look at the general interaction proposal system. And I think what we can do is learn from NLS. I'm going to play you a 37-second video.
That's a noun like that. Well, you hit a question mark anytime, and that'll show me all the verbs. It only takes one or two letters to specify what you want comes out your fruit. Like pick a verb.
Jump.
So you see, it's just okay. So I just hit G, and it says I'm gonna jump. And then it says to where? Then I can question if I want it. These are all the things that we ended up getting specialized targets where you want to jump to.
So I'm sure you've all seen NLS in work. So the way I think we can apply that here is an interaction style that is based on keyboard shortcuts or commands or whatever we want to call it. So a user would select something on the screen and then do a keyboard letter, which would then sometimes result in an instant action, but most often result in a next level action being necessary, such as in Augment you would have open and show first line and so on. That's something that a really advanced user will be extremely fast at doing, but it is not something that is easy to learn and to get into. So when I saw Doug show my friend Fleur in the video clip the question mark key, that's where the notion of the user hitting a letter and this little menu bar coming up on the screen. So in this case, I've only indicated two potential commands. So let's say you select and you hit the S key. It will then show similar concepts, or you can mark it and so on. If the user is really slow, they can hit the space bar and it'll show the top level with all the options. That's kind of like an introductory thing that has to be taught. But if they're really fast, and after a while, they can just hit the keys. Maybe sometimes it's even 3 levels deep, like mark as similar to my own work or whatever it might be. That's 3 levels, but you will learn these keys. That's the idea. So I think that whether we use this system or a control click system or whatever, it's very, very useful at this point for the community. That means all of you guys to list all possible commands so we can start grouping them to create some kind of a structure and then prioritize which ones will be built first. I would also like to add my personal little preference that we should be able to have the user preload criteria so that they can start with a concept, but a lot of stuff is already there on the screen magnetically. I think that's been discussed and agreed generally. And also it should be possible to pin specific criteria or goals to the screen. let's say someone is working together on a very specific project, they should always be able to instantly relate what they are thinking about and doing in discussion with the main criteria and the goals, because this really needs to be focused on achieving useful output, not just kind of going in circles. So thanks for watching. This is over 5 minutes long. It's quite a long presentation, but I would really like it if you can start writing down all the possible commands. We do the grouping, and then we can play with lots of interfaces. Thank you.